Wedeline, welcome. I'm so excited to hear your journey today.
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay, so let's dive in. This is kind of a funny question to start with, but I have been really on a kick. So I heard this quote the other day on a podcast, I think, that was all about the decisions that we make and kind of the importance of those decisions in hindsight to where they led for us today. So I'm curious, what decision did you say yes to that kind of has led you to this moment on your grant writing journey? And it can be big or small.
When COVID hit, I was the fellow, emerging arts leader fellow at a theater I work at now. Nice. At that time. And I had known it was a dream of mine to do private voice lessons while I was in school and all that. I just never knew how the trajectory would be, how it would happen. And when COVID happened and everybody's at home, I was like, you know what? I feel like this is the window of opportunity for me to just put myself out there and say, I'm offering online lessons. Book me. And I did. I tried to do it halfway and my best friend was like, no, you're going to do it. You need to just do it. Create an Instagram, create all this and just do it. And I did. And I survived on that for, that was my only source of income for a year plus before I switched over.
Amazing.
And it was everything to me. I met a lot of people, young, old, just being able, different states, it was so big for me, especially since there was no performing happening at that time. Yeah. I was still able to use my gifts and just be connected with the arts and also just help other people who really love singing. I mean, that was my first entrepreneurial, move. And
100%.
That's how I know I love working for myself. And that shaped, my mind, for how my future to look like and seeing that, anything that you actually really want to do, you actually can do it. You just got to do it.
Yes, absolutely. You just have to put yourself out there. Yeah. I love that. And I have to say that my assumption was that you had done private voice lessons forever. So I actually really love that you were like, no, I'm going to do this during COVID, because I would have thought it definitely is a one-to, like you'd want to be in face-to-face. But I'm sure that there were actually a lot of people everywhere who also needed a creative outlet.
Yes. Yes.
It's so incredible. So cool. Okay. So let's back up. Why did you decide to learn grant writing? How does this fit in with being a private voice teacher, all the things?
Yeah. So arts administration is something I am passionate about. So the business side of the performing arts. Yeah. And I knew I wanted to go back. Well, at that time, I wanted to go back to school for it. And while I was in college, I did take a grant writing. Well, I took an arts class that we talked about grant writing. At that time, it was boring to me. I did not even consider it. It was nothing I thought I would be doing. But during that time that I had gotten COVID as a self-employed person, I was like, I got really backed up with funds. And I was like, okay, there's two things happening. I love teaching, but it also isn't enough money. If I charge too much, then I don't get to reach all the people I want to reach, and now it's work. And I loved it so much. I didn't want to rely on it only for money, because I just don't want it to feel like a dread, or like at the end of the week, too many people canceled, I don't have enough, Yep. And I also wanted something that used the other side of my brain, because I love stuff like that. I love writing, I love reading. And even though I'm all things music, arts, I wanted to have that outlet too. So I did a lot of research on like, hey, what are people doing to, support themselves? What is something I could do to support myself and still teach? But, I have other ways that don't require me to have to meet with someone on a consistent basis, and I can work on my own time. I needed that flexibility, and grant writing came up, and I was like, okay, let me check this out. And then I think I fell in love with, people's testimonies of how they, they went from this job and now they set their schedule. And I also felt like the return was good. That was important to me, for it to be something that I can actually sustain my living with, and, one day have a family with, and not have to worry about not having enough. And like I said, using the other side of my brain, and the better you get, and it's something also that would never go out. Anything in finance, funds, money, there's always going to be a job.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's how I got into it.
I love that. I love that it just like passed you by and then you were like, nope, I'm coming back into it. I love, very cool. Okay. So because I know a little bit of your story, I know that you pushed way past some imposter syndrome and of the little bit of a lack of confidence when you applied to the job that you currently have. Can you walk us through one, maybe I should back up and kind of walk us through how you landed the job that you're currently in and what you do. And then I'd love to dig in further about how you overcame that imposter syndrome and you said, no way, I am going for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So the method with Learn Grant Writing is information interviews. And okay, so I was like, all right, well, let me start with, things that I care about, arts and stuff like that. And I knew that I had worked at this theater before. So, well, I was a fellow at the time. So I was like, let me look at their website. And the person who was over the development at now was the associate at that time. And now she's the director. So I was like, okay, I remember her. Hopefully she remembers me. I can, get an interview with her. And I didn't even know what the development department looked like at that time for them, or if they had someone or not. I just was like, let's see, I would love to just learn.
Yeah.
So I sent out an email to her. A week went by, a week and a half, and I didn't hear anything. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, something inside me was like, Wedeline, just reach out again. Because you guys are big on that follow-up. And I am
We are big on the follow-up.
I am not. I'm like, I did the thing. If the thing didn't yield it, then whatever, but I had to push past that. I was like, okay, just reach out again. So I did. And she had shared that she didn't even see my initial message. And I was like, okay, whew. She was like, I would love to, connect with you. Let's meet, And so I had the interview with her, and in that interview, sharing how, what I was doing, and I was so, obviously excited about her being in that position. And she shared with me that she was actually finishing up writing up the description for 2 jobs that were getting posted that week. And I was just like, okay, this is like divine appointment, this is for me. And I know she remembers who I was, and I did work on helping get supporting materials when I was there about 2 years prior. So I was like, okay, so she gave me the tools to put in a good application. And so I know that she knows that I'm new to this,
Yep.
So that's in the back of my mind. I'm getting ready to apply for, there's 2 positions. There's development coordinator and there's development manager. Technically, the coordinator, in terms of my years of experience, will be more fitting, but what I desire to do in aspirations, it's the development manager, because that's where I'll be doing grant writing. That's where I'll be, using the skills that I'm learning. And that says they need like 4 to 5 years of experience and this. I'm just like, I want to work here. I love this organization.
Yeah.
Any door is great, but do I really want to knock on the door that really won't satisfy me?
Yeah.
Or just go for the door that I know I really want? And if it happens, it happens. If she says, hey, you tried, but let's try this instead, at least I shot for it.
Yep.
And so I did. I used the material she gave me. I drafted up, a mock narrative, and I submitted it. And in the interviews, I just pretty much talked about how open I was to learn.
Yep.
And that I'm committed to evolving and kind of hit more on the passion side. I have the tools. I haven't exercised them quite yet, but I have the passion, which is in full effect.
Exactly. Full.
And with grant writing, you need that. So I think my passion and also my love for the organization spoke, went before me. And also my confidence. I wasn't always confident outside of the interview, but I feel like that's what bought it. She's like, well, if you're sure, then I'm sure,
Right? Yes. Okay. So talk me through that. And maybe it's a performance tactic, right? Like maybe it's because you are a performer, right? And that's a skill you learn. But how do you turn that on and off? Like if you're not feeling confident, maybe before the interview, how do you get into the interview and bring this full energy?
I think I wanted to be very true and authentic.
Yeah.
I didn't want to I knew I could only be who I was. And
Mhm.
so I hit on those things.
Yeah.
I because as I get older, coming from
Yeah.
college, you do a lot of applications. You're trying to just get the job and prove to them that they're what you need.
Yeah.
But um, I've evolved from that to just being who I am. And it's something you guys said,
I
like if
love
it's a
that.
fit, if it's a fit, it's a fit. If it's not, it's not. And there's no like, don't morph yourself or morph them to try to make just be you. And if it's for you, it's gonna be. And so I think that's what calms a lot of my anxieties. I just have to be myself and present who I am. And if it's for me, it will open.
Yeah.
And that's what gave me confidence because I am who I am. So that's a true story.
I love it. Oh, you're so inspiring. It's just, I can see you in that interview, and yeah, I'd hire you in a second too. I'd be like, yeah, where do I sign?
And I also have to say, meeting with you really boosted my confidence. I can't remember if I met with you before or after. I think it was after I submitted the application. And I felt like, you know what? You made me feel like I was presenting me and me was enough.
Yeah.
So if me fit, then me would get it. And so I was
Yes.
like, okay, so my anxieties just really went down. So I really appreciated that
Aw,
meeting.
thank you. Yeah, it was a really cool meeting. And for me, it was very inspiring because you had pushed through this, right? And you had decided, no, this is where I'm going and this is what I want. And I think often we forget, sure, maybe they wanted 4 to 5 years grant writing experience, and maybe your grant writing specific experience wasn't um, high, but you have experience in so many different realms, and that counts too. And so what I loved about our meeting was that you articulated that as well, right? You were like, not only, maybe I don't have all the experience that I would want, but I have a lot of gifts to give. And that
Mhm.
also fits into this manager position. And I just was one of the coolest conversations because, yeah, watching you glow like this is incredible.
Thank you.
So I do have a question of, you wanted to kind of have the flexibility and then you decided to actually apply for a full-time job. So how does that, do you still want to be a business owner? Are you getting your kind of entrepreneurial food from the voice lessons and you'll eventually transition over? Or what does your long-term journey look like, do you think?
So that's a really good question. I actually recently made the choice to suspend teaching private lessons at the
Okay.
moment
Yeah.
and give the season the attention that it needed because the job is an hour away almost from
Okay.
where I live.
Oh my
So it's
gosh.
pretty much of a commute. I live in Tampa and the theater's in St. Pete, so it's about
Okay.
45 minutes. And I don't mind. It's over a pretty bridge. It's therapeutic for me. It's fine. But my lessons would be in the evening, and I remember how I felt. Having a full day and then trying to do lessons. It was just my students weren't gonna be able to get what they needed from me. So
Yeah.
I made that hard choice to suspend teaching lessons for the moment and give this and really soak in the season. I
Yeah.
do still desire to. I still do desire to do freelance work, self-employed work. How I move into that, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure. I now at this point I am ready to take on several projects since now that I've been here for almost 4 months and I feel like
Yeah.
I got a groove of what is expected in my schedule. I feel like I'm ready to work with other organizations
Nice.
and while I'm working here.
Yeah.
But um, when it comes to the music, I think I am more focused on performing and doing more and doing more singing with myself, in that vein, and kind of do more group teaching. So I still
Cool.
do group lessons and stuff like
Nice.
that, which doesn't require a consistent every week type thing.
Okay.
So that's where I'm leaning on right now. So still more to come up the path to that.
I
Yeah.
love it. Okay, so let's take a little detour. Um, you shared some pretty big news on your Instagram the other day about your voice journey and your singing journey. Do you want to share that with everyone?
Yes. So I am currently raising money to have a live recording this year. So a full length album. I am a singer. I'm a music director. I do all things music, and I have recently released EPs and singles. But
Yeah.
I feel like the opportunity, the window has opened now for me to pursue this. It's the biggest thing thing for me yet. And it does cost a lot of money, so I'm raising money for it. But the album, it's going to talk a lot about grief and heartbreak and love, and kind of going through different seasons with God, and trusting his faithfulness and all of that. So
Yeah.
it's so funny because I mean, the world we're living in today, I feel like a lot of us need that healing music and peace, because nothing's perfect, but there is something to lean on and hold on to even in all that. So it's going to be a really vulnerable, intimate kind of album. So I'm really, really excited about that. Yeah, I'm really happy about that.
I'm so excited because I've only listened to a couple of your singles, and then of course, like when you sing on Instagram. But you're gorgeous. Your voice is just stunning. And to watch you go after all of these different dreams is just so neat. And to show, my sister is a dancer and she's struggling coming into what does life look like if I'm not dancing full time? And so showing, the world out there that you can be so many different pieces of you and still
Yeah,
show up authentically is
yeah.
just really powerful.
Yeah, I really resonate with that. I think after college, that was something I really took some time to understand. Okay, who is Wedeline? Like, am I Wedeline this, or am I just Wedeline and I do all these things? I've moved
Yes.
away from like actor or singer and just kind of moved into like this like performing professional or performing arts
I love
professional,
that.
performing arts.
Yeah.
Like I do all those things, or just trying to be, like you said, all encompassing and not box myself in any kind of way that too much, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. I love, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, so cool. Okay, so what is your proudest accomplishment this far in your grant writing journey?
Okay, so that's a two-part question. This weekend, today, I wrapped up my first federal grant, state grant.
Yay,
Big grant.
congratulations.
Thank you. Huge grant. And we're pressing send on it on Wednesday. It's ready to go. But I think my proudest accomplishment is the LOI I submitted today. It may seem small, but this
Yeah.
was an opportunity that I found myself, and
Nice.
it was for a new initiative for the organization. Pretty much, I've been so far with the job, I have been doing a lot of continuing what they've already been doing, grants that they already had on schedule or stuff like that. But this one was one that I found through my own research, for a new initiative. So it had new language that I brought, and I felt very like confident, like, okay, I did it. It was
That's really
that's
cool.
mm-hmm.
Yay. Okay, so my follow-up question will be, what are you doing to celebrate pressing submit on your first federal grant?
Oh my gosh, that is a good question. I don't know. I am out of town next week. I'll be in Louisiana, so maybe I don't know.
To do something fun? Are you with friends? Like,
Yeah, I'll be with
okay.
friends. I'll try to do something fun. I haven't even thought about how to celebrate because
Okay, that's my challenge to you. With your friends, and you can just like say, okay, for a moment, we have to celebrate. This is
Mhm.
a huge milestone.
Yeah.
Yay. Oh, it's so cool. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so what are some key takeaways that you've had from learning with us?
I think that, like I said about the follow-up thing,
Yeah,
I think knocking more than once is okay.
yeah,
And I think that y'all taught me that that's okay, And I also think that it's something that Meredith said, like when I posted, oh, I'm doing my first state grant, and she posted, even, us big dogs, whatever, we get nervous too. But then I sit down, do some project planning and this and that. Project planning is huge, but I also think just getting the words out before making it
yes,
pretty
yeah,
was a wonder, because
yeah,
my mind, I'm like I'm a songwriter, so I'm perfecting things before they come out of my my
yes,
mouth, out of my lips,
yeah,
my hands.
yeah,
But with grant writing, girl, no, you just need to get it out, whatever you're thinking right now, and then go back and so letting it be messy, but put time in it to where if it's messy right now, it's gonna get where it needs to be
yeah.
because you have project planned it to have time to do those things. So I love that. And I love the community. I really love that, hearing other people's stuff, and then when I post certain things and everybody's so excited, I love how engaged you guys are. It's like, oh my God, they're not like some weird people who created something. Just look at their billboard. Yeah, they're the ones they're the founders, I think. No, you guys
Yeah,
are like
right.
real people. And I love that. I also
Yay.
love how you guys post questions. Like I think her name is Heather.
Yeah. Yeah.
She usually posted about, she's one of the bosses, and she posted and asked the community a question. It's like, we're all really human, and we're all just really helping each other. And I really, it humanized the experience for me and made it much more realistic for me, because we're real people. So I love that.
You've just like filled my bucket, like overflowing, overflowing. My favorite part of life is when we can be vulnerable with one another. And so to hear you say that, like, you see that in our community group blows my mind.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yay. Oh, and thank you for being vulnerable within the community group so that we
Absolutely.
can meet you at that place too.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. Okay. So a rapid fire questions. What's one word to describe your dream lifestyle?
Oh my God, there's 3 words that are fighting for the place.
You can do 3. You can do 3. I'll allow it.
There's content, full, and grateful.
Oh, I like
Yes.
that.
I just want to be and know that this is good. Not perfect. There is no such thing, but it's good, and so that's my dream life,
Gorgeous. Okay. Next vacation spot.
I want to go to Italy. Yeah, I do. The water, the fashion, the shopping. I really want to go to Italy.
Pasta. Yeah.
See what happens.
Nice. Okay. Fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Sweet. What are you reading right now?
I am not reading anything right now, but I have my hands on Viola Davis's new book.
Ooh.
And I am planning on starting that soon. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Okay. You'll have to let us know how it is in the community group. Mm-hmm. Last TV show you binged?
Jane the Virgin is top 3 favorite show, and I recently rewatched it all over again, and same feels. She understands me. Yeah,
I love that.
So,
Oh, my mom's been trying to get me to watch it, so this might be my second sign. Yeah. And what is your superpower?
faith. My superpower is faith.
Yeah. That shines through so much. Yes. Oh, you are incredible. I am just so tickled that you are in our community, that our paths have crossed. Thank you for inspiring us and others in the collective. You are a powerhouse, and I'm so excited for what your journey will continue to unfold and look like.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I am so grateful to you all. I really, really am. I have a whole new, trajectory for my life, and I didn't know how I was going to get there, but here we are, and I'm so, so thankful. So I hope someone is inspired. Just do it. Just start. It's okay. Just start. Take your time and do it.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's end there. What is that your one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's maybe looking at grant writing, but anything, right? Looking at their dream, what would you tell them?
Just do it. Just start and commit to doing it. However long it takes, go slow, whatever, just start. Yeah.
Yay. Okay, we are totally ending there because it's beautiful. Thank you so, so much. And we'll see you again soon.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.